is here. Alessandra went from unsure beginnings to running the engine room of a thriving creative business. She shares how she landed her dream role, co-built the D Collective, and what it's really like being mentored by the artist and founder Danielle. This one's full of insight, growth, and real talk. Let's get into it.
Hi, I'm Britt.
And I'm Amy, and welcome to the Every Season podcast.
We're here for a fun time, not a long time.
Hopefully we're here for a bit of a long time. Hey Britt,
Hey, Ames.
would you say you need some assistance when it comes to being more aware of your body?
Why? What have you got?
Well, you can download our free 7-step female body awareness kit and see if it helps.
Sweet, where?
In the show notes and on our website.
Also, in order for us to be here for a long time,
Please subscribe to our podcast.
So, you obviously worked up until COVID to hospitality. Your job right now, I don't know much about it personally, but it seems really, really cool.
Yeah,
so do you want to kind of tell people, I guess, what your job is now and how you went from hospitality to what you're doing at the moment?
Yeah, of course. So I worked in hospital still through COVID. So obviously that really changed that industry completely. I don't think it'll ever be the same again, in all honesty. And it got to a point where I wasn't working very much. I was kind of bored, just over it. I didn't see much more growth in that industry. Danielle actually put an ad on Instagram, and I must have been following her for years and didn't even realize. And she's like, I just need someone to help me with admin 3 days a week. And I was like, fuck it.
Can you let people know who Danielle is?
Oh yeah, sorry.
I mean, we'll put all her details in the show.
Danielle Weber is I can read out her bio, probably off by heart, but I won't do that. She is a Melbourne artist. Now we kind of say more businesswoman than artist, but she's a Melbourne artist, and she has done incredible things. Most notably is The Rock. She's painted for The Rock, and that kind of catapulted her. But she's just insane. She does murals, commissions. We dabbled in NFTs for a while. She's just this insane person. So I work for her. So my role started off really small. So yeah, she put an ad on Instagram, and I just said, I can help with admin, thinking nothing will ever come of it.
Were you in hospo at the time? Or I feel there was some, yeah.
This was
what kind of hospo were you in? As in a restaurant or hotel?
So
Okay.
I worked in a restaurant. I worked at the same, I only finished up last year part-time, but I worked in the same restaurant.
Did you actually?
Yeah, I still did Friday, Saturday nights up until the end of last year. Because I'm a sicko. So I worked there for 11 years. I worked there from the age of 18. So I started hospital at 15, worked in cafes and restaurants, and then I worked at one restaurant from the age of 18. And I always had 2 hospo jobs. So that restaurant was only nights, Pizza Espresso in Templestowe. So I worked there Wednesday, Friday, Saturday nights for 11 years. And then I worked a day job in a cafe and also did nights at this cafe as well. So I was kind of pretty much 6 days a week, probably clocking 70 hours a week in hospo in total, waitressing. And then, in 2021, Dee put out an ad, and we're still in the heat of COVID. It's still kind of, the hospo was up and down. Messaged her. She came back to me and said, look, the spot's been filled, but I'll keep you in mind for anything that comes up. A year later, she messaged me again and goes, are you still looking for work? And I was like, yes, because we were still...
Sorry, did you say a year later?
A year later.
Wow.
I lie. So, a year later in 2021, she messaged me and said, are you still looking for work? I actually got offered another job in a completely other industry doing admin. Turned it down and took the job with Danielle. And it started off 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Still doing hospo part-time. And, I just started as an admin assistant kind of thing. So... And then my role, obviously I've been here for 4 years now, has just evolved more than I ever thought it would. And I think more than Danielle ever thought it would. I was her first ever hire, so I don't think she'd ever known what that would look like as well.
So I guess in regards to working for Danny in that role in particular as operations manager, what does your day-to-day look like?
My day-to-day is very weird. For example, today I've got this, and then we have, it really varies. So obviously there's we have lots of admin, lots of emails. We look at things like getting mural work, outreach, such a mixed bag. And then today, for example, we've got to go to an old mural that we've done that got damaged, so Dee's going to touch that up. We're obviously building out a massive online platform community at the moment. So that's taking up most of my time at the moment. We have a beautiful mentorship program, the D Collective, but day to day, it's a mixed bag. There's things from content to admin to murals to commissions to NFTs to mentorship to design work. Like, oh God, like my days never, and it's always planned out in the morning, and then by like 10 a.m. it's like, okay, everything you thought you were going to do today, you're not doing. You're doing like a million and one other things. So like, let's just forget my to-do list and start a new one kind of thing. But mixed bag. I paint sometimes, and by paint I mean like one color on the wall, and then I'm out. When she wants one color painted, I'm your girl, but other than that, I'm out.
That is epic.
Yeah,
That
it's
is
cool.
so cool. So like going from what you were doing to then, you know,
What I do now.
working with Danny is obviously just like chalk and cheese.
Yeah.
But what's it been like working, I guess, for an inspirational, you know, admirational woman like Danny?
I think I'm so fortunate. I think working for a woman as well, I think just changed the game for me in terms of like what I thought I was capable of and what I'm actually capable of. Like I was quite limited in thinking like I worked a hospo job for almost 15 years. Like what did that teach me? But weirdly, I think hospo taught me so much more than I could ever learn in uni. I think bringing that in, and I was very lucky that she took a chance on me because technically I had no like qualifications, but working for Dee has just been incredible. Watching her run a business she's been doing this for almost 15 years on her own. I think working for her, she never makes me think that I'm not capable of something, and she's very motivating. And I think working so closely together, like we always say, we have no buffer. There's just me and her every day in the office on a mural. Yeah, I don't know. There's a million things I could say about Dee. She's just incredible to work
What would
for.
you say is the biggest thing you've learnt from Danny?
Nothing is what it seems in business. And yeah, that you're capable of anything. Like you really truly are. Like, and nothing comes easy. Nothing in this world comes easy. So probably those three. And also
love
everything
that.
needs to be fun.
Now I'm getting goosebumps, Ames.
Yeah.
She's gone from no girl goosebumps to goosebumps every hour.
Well, when I hear all these inspiring stories, especially over the last couple of days, we've heard a fair few, and it's quite emotional, like to see people go from how they used to feel to being so successful and have a good story behind it. I don't know, it just makes me feel really good.
Yeah. It's, so
It's like therapy.
Like, I never think of my story like as anything different to like, because I look at Dee and I'm like, I was in like, you've lived like 13,000 different lives in the space of, because she's 32, like in 32 years, like her story is even more like, I was like, I don't know how you've lived that many lives, because I was very like A-type, like I just do my thing, but she's very like, so yeah, it's hearing people's stories. I find like the everyday person, their story, like you actually don't know anything about anybody, even when you think that you do.
Nope.
You just don't.
No. You know, I mean, that's why we wanted you to jump on here, you know, because I think, you know, from the challenges that you've faced and where you are and where you're heading is just phenomenal. And I think, you know, you make such a good point there, especially with like Danny, that, you know, I guess especially in this world, like I had this conversation with someone yesterday, like, you know, everyone sees the shiny shit. You know, like everyone sees like, you know, yourself where like here, you know, or like Danny here and all that type of stuff. But no one actually understands what actually is going on behind the scenes, the hard work, the hours you put in. You're rocking up to a mural at whatever hours, and then you're not going home to whatever hours and stuff like that. But and that's why it really comes down to having that, you know, passion and fulfilled with your everyday life. And like you said, kind of being so present in that moment, you know?
I think that's the thing too, like even you with Season, like you would know, like building, especially like building something like a product too, like just building a business, there are so many layers, like beyond. And I've been really fortunate that Dee has, I think it's also because we do work so closely, it's kind of inevitable to not know what's going on. But even things like financials or this or that, or like, you know, the sleepless nights, like there's so much, and I know it's probably like something that everyone always says, but to build a business from the ground up, to build it on your own, to go into it, for example, like you go into an industry that you don't know a whole lot about either, and just be like,
No.
okay, like where am I going? What am I doing? The mistakes you make, the things, like even us now, like literally we clocked over like 250,000 followers, and we always laugh because I'm like, it's great and it's amazing, and she's built this incredible brand over, but she's like, that took me 15 years to build.
15 years, yeah.
And like, also, that 250,000 followers doesn't, not that it doesn't mean anything. It's just, it's not the be all and end all of our whole brand and life and what we're building.
No.
We're very lucky because it is very, it's incredible what she's done. But also just like, it doesn't be like, we like wake up like, we've got 250,000 followers and now like we're done. Like that's it. That's the day done. Like I think Dee works, only now she probably like doesn't work 7 days, but she works round the clock. Like she's always like to me, you don't need to do that. And obviously naturally you kind of just like fall into that working so close with someone. But just, yeah, building a business and building something that you want to be sustainable, I think is also a massive thing. And if like talking about what she's taught me, just so many things. Like we talk about sustainability and longevity of a brand. And even for Dee, we always talk about realistically, how do we build something that lasts longer than her painting? Because she loves painting and she'll never, but on her body and on her, like, I can't paint her. I can't go out to side and paint 10 portraits on a wall. Like, that's not something I can do. So how do we build a sustainable business and brand that doesn't require her face and her palette to be sustainable?
Never thought about it like that, you know. It's really
Yeah.
interesting. It's like the scalability, because what I guess what she does is so labor intensive.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
like you said, like
trade.
she is the one, if she
Doing
does
it
not
all, yeah.
paint, her business doesn't run. You know, your business doesn't run.
Yeah. People don't realize
And she
it.
can't be doing that forever. Like,
No. And like, even just like if she would do it, probably till like,
a very long time.
yeah, but in the sense of like, again, yeah, scalability. Like she went from a one person and her dad helps on site too, but we look at murals like a trade. I think that's what people don't realize. We're a trade, but she can't necessarily hire someone out to complete that trade for her. Does that make sense? Like, you know, you have, they can get a labourer or they can get like an apprentice, and like it's very, it's something that people don't think about, and something that we are constantly thinking, how does this business become scalable and sustainable? And that's where the D Collective obviously came from, passion, but also like something needs to be bigger than Danielle herself. Yeah, it's interesting.
I love that.
It's very interesting.
Before we dive into the D Collective, what do you think, working with Danny and yourself, like what's been the biggest challenge aside from, I guess, that, because that is a really big challenge, but I guess more so within the industry,
Like the art industry?
yeah,
I think that's a really good question, and I also would never want to speak for Dee either.
no,
Trying to think like what we talk about. I think not being taken seriously as this is a real job, and this, yes, she absolutely loves what she does, and like our ethos is always like have fun and then like the rest will follow. But I think just not being taken seriously, one, as a woman in this industry, it's a very male dominated industry. There are a lot of political things that happen within the art world. Like there's a lot of politics, like any industry. But yeah, just not being taken seriously. Like we'll be out on site sometimes and someone's like, oh, like do you do this for work? While we're like literally painting a mural. And she's like, no, I'm just, taking the day off to just paint something on the wall. Like,
So people think it's more of a hobby than an actual job.
yeah. And in full transparency, we like talk to so many artists every day, but there's a big scale of like, there's so many artists that just want to paint and do it for the love of it and don't care what they get paid. But then there's people on the other end of the scale like, you should be getting paid for something. Just because you love it doesn't mean it's not worthy of being paid. And like, how does that scale work? We talk about all the time how Dee's worked really hard at building business to ensure that that art is sustainable. And like I said, there's a lot of things that happen with industry, like any industry, that's like political and this and that. But I think just being taken seriously and being like, you don't go up to a chippy and be like, oh, like, do you just like build houses for fun? Like, I'm sure they love what they do, but it's like, why is that considered a job? But what she does is not. And I'm telling you now, like, talent is one thing, but the hard work exceeds the talent every day of the week. Like, obviously, I couldn't just go and paint a portrait, but if you look at some of Dee's old work, she's like, my work was shit. Like, but I worked really hard at building that talent up, that skill. Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
So interesting. She still doesn't get taken seriously every day. Sometimes it's wild to me, but yeah.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
Not cool, but you know what I mean.
Interesting.
Like,
Yeah, it is.
It is. It's really, really interesting. So tell us, D Collective, what is this? Like,
Yeah.
explain. I'm even more intrigued. Brit's like, what is this? So yeah, tell us a bit about
At it.
Yeah, about it. It's obviously your baby that you guys are working on. I want to know everything.
Cool. So it came from, I guess, Dee's been working on this community long before I came in to the business, but it was born out of Dee wishing that, one, there was more support when she first started in this industry. She felt like it can be quite closed off, and wishing that she had something like this when she started. Yeah, so like I said before, she works really hard at the business side of things. She always says, which I disagree with, but she always says, like, I'm not the best artist in the world, but I've worked really, really hard at business so that my skill is supplemented, like, so I can build sustainability and longevity within this industry. So it started as that, and she had done so much work before I came. She had like a Facebook community where she did a lot of like surveys and finding out what artists needed and what was missing in the market. And then it's always kind of been in the background of our day-to-day. Like, we kind of like work on it and then we'll stop. And then it got to a point in the business a few years ago where she was like, again, that scalability thing, like, we need to build something bigger than me. I can't help. Like, she gets hundreds of DMs a day or a week of like people asking for help. And she's like, I can't physically help this many people this much. So let's build something that if I help this artist, they can then help someone else in this like ripple effective community within the industry. And as we talked about scalability, which is like, okay, something needs to be not so front facing for D as much, where we can build something behind the scenes that is good for artists. So we don't teach artists how to paint because obviously I cannot do that. But we basically teach artists about the business and everything that Dee's learned in the 15 years to create a sustainable, successful business. And that's kind of where it started. So we have a small membership community. So it's a very small fee. There's about 400 artists in there at the moment. It's a lot more artist-led. So we run challenges and things like that within that community, but it's about other artists helping each other. And then we have a mentorship program, which is the D Collective Studio. And that's where we do a few intakes a month. We've probably got about 12 artists in there at the moment, and we mentor them, and they've invested time and money into us. So we do like weekly calls with me, weekly calls with Danielle. We teach everything about the business. We build out mural modules. It's on a platform called School. I don't know if you've heard of School with a K. And we have built it out on there, and that's amazing. It's an amazing platform. It's so good. Like, it's so functional. It's really easy to use. So yeah, that's kind of what it is. And obviously we're all about artists supporting artists and building an industry that is good for everybody, not just every man out for themselves.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt, but don't forget about us. Please subscribe.
Okay, back to the episode.
Going back to what you were saying before, Aloe, how you said like the industry's quite closed off. What do you mean by that? Like, as in, is it very competitive so people don't want to share anything, or is it?
I think, obviously, I've not been in it as long as Danielle, so
yeah,
I just tread carefully. But
I
think it's a little bit, not even competitive, but I think it's just, maybe competitive is the right word. I think it's just like you know, why, like, there's a lot of politics. So there's things like there's agencies as well that sometimes come between the artist and the art, which is really good for artists that just want to paint and get paid whatever. But that can be really hard. And then obviously you're competing for work a lot. There's a difference between, you know, commercial artists and artists that just paint for the love. There's a lot of people, it's quite gatekeepy. And that's not just coming from like our own experience. That's from talking to a lot of artists that say to us, like, with us, they're like, we can't believe how much you share with us, because we found that when we ask other people, they don't want to share their information. They don't want to share. But it's like, we believe that if we help you and you help someone else, the industry becomes better as a whole. So for example, little things like in any trade, like if I undercut you, how is that good for the industry? Because say you're a chippy and I quote you $1,000 and the chippy down the road is going to quote you $200 to do the same job. That's not good for the industry as a whole. That's bad for the industry. So we also really push you being paid what you're worth. Because the thing is, why should you suffer as an individual just because the industry is suffering? Does that make sense?
100%. And I think you make such a good point, because like it kind of then links into like, I guess this, I would say society or whatever, but like, or art is like fun. It's like a hobby, you know, you paint to like let go or like, you know, to escape.
It can be.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
That's not what we're doing. Yeah. That's
No,
not what
like,
yeah.
exactly right. Like, obviously, like me painting just for like, say, self-care or whatever it is, you know, I don't, that's a hobby to me. But like you said, you're in a world where it's not a hobby. It's a job. It's an occupation. It's, you know, it's income. Like anyone would see a doctor or a nurse, you know, and I think it's a really interesting like concept and conversation to have, because like, you know, again, you've just got those stereotypical roles as professionals that we're just taught at uni or school. It's a doctor or a nurse and stuff like that. So yeah, you're battling with people trying to take you seriously, you know?
And that's the thing too. I always say to people think she comes into the studio and paints from morning to night. Chances are she won't start painting till like I leave at 6 o'clock or 5:30.
Yeah.
And even then,
because she's running a business.
Like you're nothing of what has made, that's actually like nothing is what it seems. Again, like only murals, but again, so like murals, it's a very different game altogether. So murals, it's like she'll spend no longer than 3 weeks on a mural because she'll get like itchy feet and can't do it. But she literally gets into mural, does not do anything else but paint for 12 hours and goes home. But she smacks it out in 3 weeks, and like it's a different game altogether. It's a different mental game. It's a different, you know, physical game. But she'll leave a commission here for 12 months and just like play with it. Like it's just different. It's such a different world. And I think, yeah, like you said, even at school though, you're taught like in the simplest ways, like biology, science and all this is all smart subjects, and this gets marked up on your ATAR, and this is what is good. And then you do an art subject and it's like, oh, but your ATAR is going to be lower. And this is, you I think there's a big shift from like, what did we finish school like almost 12 years ago, 13 years ago? Like there's been a massive shift, I think, just with social media and just what people have more access to. So I think there has been a big shift, but it's still very hard to be taken seriously. And yeah, I guess again, that gatekeeping, that red tape, and really finding your voice in an industry that's very hard to crack. Yeah.
I would love to come on like a day and actually just see what like from start to finish looks like, because it just sounds like there's so many different aspects within the business.
Yeah.
It's
incredible. We'll have a plan. We'll come into the office and be like, okay, today we're doing all of these things. And then like by 6 o'clock, I'm like, hey, we have not done one of these things, but we've done like 50 other thousand things that did not require us. And just that's why we started. I don't know if you've ever seen on every Monday, we've done like 123 mic'd up Mondays. It's like a segment that we started to show people. Sometimes they're really silly. Sometimes they're really serious, but just be like, this is actually what happens behind the scenes. Like this is what her life actually looks like. And they're only like 1:30 or 2 minutes or whatever, but it's like, it's not just like, yes, we have so much fun, but it's not what people think it is.
No.
Yeah.
100%.
So there's like, I can understand like you've, Dee's created the community, and that was like a passion, but like what was the actual inspiration just behind Dee Collective? Like, was there something that really, really inspired both of you?
I think for D, if I can I think she was like, I wish that there was like some sort of blueprint for me to have followed. Like, so she studied health science and art at Deakin, but she was like, not one thing about me studying art taught me how to be a successful artist. So I think it came from what was I lacking 14 years ago and what do I think that artists really need. I don't think it's about teaching them how to paint. I think it's teaching them how to run a business.
And what inspired you?
I think just seeing the ins and outs of how it actually works. And we have found so much fulfillment in giving back. I think that, yeah, we like spend every day together and we have so much fun, but there was a point where we're like, okay, how do we grow and how do we, come to work every day and love what we do, but yeah, help people. And like I said, Dee was getting hundreds of messages a day. She's like, I can't actually help everyone. I can't do it. So also I think it's about which artists are really serious about being successful. And that looks different to everyone, whether that be I'm working part-time and doing art on the side, but I wanted this to be my full-time job, or whether you're like, I want to make all this money being an artist, or whether you're just like, I just want to be able to paint murals. Like, murals is a massive thing for artists. It's a very like daunting thing for artists to do. So it was like, how do we take the artists that are very serious and want to commit? And that's where the mentorship comes in. It's for those artists that are like, I'm ready to commit to myself and my business. And artists can be quite like, I just want to create and I just want to have this. And they're a really hard bunch of people because by nature they're quite like artistic and creative. It's hard for them to think business minded.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a whole different ball game.
Yeah, and like the thing is with this industry too, it's not there's no cut and paste. There's no I'm going to quote this job like this and that's going to apply to every mural I quote. Like, 2 murals could be the exact same size and they are completely different to run, logistics, to quote. Like, but Dee's like, I just figured it out and made so many mistakes. So if we can help artists make half the amount of mistakes. I think with the community too, we found that the artists, yes, they really value what we're teaching them, but they've also really valued community. It's a very isolating career. It's very isolating. Like I said today, you just sit here all day and just talk to yourself. And she's like, yeah. Because it's not like any other industry where you go to an office and you chat all day and you do your job and you go, like, she would just literally, I was like, did you just talk to yourself all day? She's like, yeah, pretty much. It's very isolating.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
What's next for the D Collective?
Oh, it's so interesting to say that. We're just always talking about what is next. I think we're always, we're just like, so what are we going to do? What's going to look like in a year? We would love to run like artist retreats and creative retreats globally. I think.
I love that.
Yeah. And
That's
like,
sick.
Dee's very big on mental and physical health as well in order to like create sustainability again and longevity in business.
Yeah.
So incorporating a mix of all those things, I think we're still in the building phase. So I think we're also just like, as we speak, we're still building out parts of the modules. But I think once we finish that should be done in a month or so. It'll be about scaling. So like onboarding, we've onboarded 12 artists. And I think for our workload at the moment, it's a really good number for us to manage, 12 people. But onboarding as many artists as we can into the mentorship. And then we would love to, we've got a lot of big dreams, a lot of big goals to kick off. Lots of things in the pipeline we're hoping that I probably can't say yet. She might kill me. But just...
a lot of things happening.
Yeah, like just behind you guys know, like you would know too, Ames. Like you're like, oh, like, and you sort of want to speak it into the universe in case it doesn't happen. Like you kind of want to like keep it.
You're protecting it.
100%.
Yeah, just because you never know what's, one day you think this is all going to happen and then like something happens and you're like, this isn't happening.
What is it? What's a quote? Don't share your dreams. Keep your dreams.
It's like, I know what you mean, like staying quiet and like just... Yeah.
We said it the other day on our episode.
It was don't share
your dreams
with people that don't understand your dreams or something like that.
I can't remember.
Something like that.
Anyway, I'm figuring shit out, having fun, but also like, thinking big. And I think because so many people, like you said, like people do not understand their potential. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People don't push through their boundaries, whether or not that's, you know, environment, society, lack of confidence, all that type of stuff. And I just feel like what you guys are doing is just incredible because, like you said, you're helping, you're serving, and you're creating magic. And there are conversations where if people would come in, they would think, what are you talking about? Do you know what I mean? You are unrealistic. It does not make sense. And like, why would you, that's shit energy.
And that's the thing, if people don't, like Dee says, like, it doesn't serve you, let it go. And one thing I know you said before, what has she taught you? But I think we always say, like, what was I going to say? She says, like, if running a business was easy, everybody would do it. Yeah, like, everybody would do it. And they don't, because it's hard. And, like, just there's so many highs, and just as quick as the highs come, the lows come, and then you're back again. And Dee has taught me, which is, like, been a very hard thing to do, but I see it in her too. It's like, we try and stay pretty streamlined across, the highs and the lows, because we're like, okay, it's a really good day today, but I'm telling you, like, tomorrow. Yeah, but 100%. If you're gonna, like, get in that low, like, you're not in, you just keep kicking on. Like, we just did a print drop, and she's very transparent about it, and we've done, I don't know, 4 limited edition print drops, and they've all done really well, and this one was a flop. And every day we, like, joke, like, oh, look at all those orders coming in, and there's, like, no orders. Like, we just kind of have to keep like that, and you learn from. But if you're going to be like this, it's not going to work, because you're going to get so caught in the trenches or so caught in the highs. You've just got to keep level-headed, I guess.
100%.
That's great advice.
Yeah, she's
100%.
something, like, lives by, like, something that because she's had so much success, but I know that with the success that she's had, and she's really honest about this, but there's been, like, moments in her career in the last 4 years that have been, on the outside, looks like this is, like, the peak of the peak, and it's probably been the lowest of the low internally. Or, so just keeping level-headed helps us both be like, all right, on to the next. Like, you can let it get you down, but, like, on to the next.
I love that. Well, this has just been such an interesting chat.
Yeah, it has.
Brit's blown away.
I am, because, like, I feel like it hasn't even been like we're doing a podcast. It feels like we're actually having a chat, and you've just, you know, inspired us. And I think I've actually learnt a little bit, to be honest.
Oh, that's good.
So thanks for that.
So good. I think what you guys are doing is incredible. I think not enough of these conversations are had, especially within, like, friendship groups. I feel like even Dee's like, I've never really spoken to people about my work life, because, like, do they get it? Did they not? But I think having these conversations is so important, just, again, like, to learn, to understand that, like, and it's so interesting because, you know, we go, like I said jokingly before, like, you go weeks without talking to someone, but it's not because you're just like, see, I don't want to talk to you, you're flaky. It's just like, there's so much happening. And if people don't get that as well, it's kind of like, well, but not everyone's going to get it. That's the thing. Not everyone's going to understand. Not everyone's going to get it. And you kind of have to be like, and one thing my mum always said, even in hospital, like, I get so frustrated sometimes and be like, why don't people work like the way that I work? Like, why am I picking up the slack for people? We're both getting paid the same. But mum's like, everyone's capacity is their capacity. Like, you know, I said my mum's 59. Sorry, mum. 59. And, like, she works 40 hours a week on her feet in hospital still. And that's because she has to. But also, like, I see her run rings around 20-year-olds. But mum's like, that's their capacity. Like, that's how it is. Like, and
100%. Yeah, you're so right. We were just talking about that the other day, ironically. Like, I remember, was it me and you, Britt? Oh, no, me and someone else. And I was just saying that, like, she was just discussing, I guess, a few challenges that she was having with a worker. And I said to her, I was like, where that changed for me is when I had a conversation with a mentor of mine 5 years ago, and I got the same thing. And they're like, Ames, your 100% is
different to someone else.
And you have to you have to drop all of that, and you have to understand as a leader what their 100% is and work towards that. You know, that, and that's it, you know. And I think, you know, like you said, that I guess coming back down to whether or not that's friendships or anything like that, like, just got to spend time with yourself, you know. Don't be insecure if someone, you know, your friend hasn't spoken to you for a week or a month or whatever. If it's true friendship and you haven't seen each other for 2 years and you can have conversations like this, well, then that's true friendship, you know.
100%. I think it's just, if they don't get it, like, that's on them. Like, that's not a reflection of you. Or it's not even on them like it's a bad thing. It's just like, it is what it is. Like, and I think too, like I said, like with picking up the slack, like me and Dee work so closely together, and we're very fortunate that like if I'm not at my 100% capacity, it's like a relationship. Like she'll pick up the rest. Like that's how it works, and vice versa. There's plenty of days where she's like not at full capacity, but you just pick up the slack and you keep going. Like, and I think that's something really beautiful about us working so closely. Is it's like, yes, obviously we've become really good friends over 4 years, but we still. It's like I'm in a relationship. Like I literally, like I see you more than I see anybody else in my whole life.
100%.
Yeah. So
I love that. So for people, we'll put all like for people who want to know more about the D Collective, they want to know more about Danielle and your business. What's a business called? Like when?
So her business is called Danielle's Artwork.
Yep.
And then so that's her Instagram, and then there's the Instagram at the D Collective.
Yep.
But if anyone wants to know more, they can always send me an email or a DM or DM TDC, the D Collective. So we're pretty accessible to people. It's probably not a good thing.
Perfect.
Yeah, just send us a message.
100%. Well, I'll put it. We'll put it in the show notes as we always do. And you might get a fair few emails. You know,
That's all right. No, go for it. Yeah, go for it. We love it.
No, that's been awesome, Ali. Killed it, mate.
Thanks, guys. No,
Howdy, it's us again. Hope you enjoyed the episode.
Don't forget to download the awareness kit and subscribe to the podcast. Have a fabulous day.